Maniac Beats.
Someone hit me with a question at the time they didn't know. If they wanna make a difference, how far would it really go? In life, you get rewarded for every seed that you sow. So we're building a community to help to make them grow. I'm a Trini born, Brooklyn raised, Ghanaian from latter day. Always repping Africa, even when I'm not on the stage. I have to get back at you if you ain't riding on the wave. I'm all about Pan-Africa, the ancestors who paved the way. It's cool chillin' in NYC. How about them African children who went to bed hungry?
Hello, family. This is Africans Leaving America. I am Afia Koomson, and I have two wonderful guests with me today. They are actually brothers from Detroit. Please introduce yourself to the platform, fellas.
Okay, I'm Christopher Franklin. Like you said, I'm from Detroit. My name is David Franklin from Detroit, Michigan, USA.
All right. And you know what? Detroit is in the building, honey, in Africa. It's a lot of people from Detroit that's repatriating to Africa. Oh yeah, most definitely.
Right.
I have a good friend. Her name is LaShawn Rainey. She's doing big things in Ghana. She even opened up a school for girls, like a cosmetology slash a seamstress school in Ghana. And she's from Detroit as well. Yeah, she's frequent inside our group Africans Leaving America on Facebook. She posts a lot of things as well. But yeah, Detroit is in the building. So
that's good to hear. That's good to hear.
It is. Detroit is really doing, good things in Africa right now. So that goes to my first question to ask. How long have you been in Rwanda, and what made you choose that for your destination?
We have been in Rwanda. Actually, we've visited Rwanda several times. This is my brother's fourth time here. Okay. This is my fifth time here.
Okay.
But what made me originally choose Rwanda in the beginning, I was researching several African countries. I researched Gambia, Senegal, Ghana, Togo, the Ivory Coast, all the west coast of Africa that we usually look into.
Yes.
But once I started looking into the major categories that we would want it to be into, such as leadership was a big thing for us, infrastructure, ease of doing business. And once we researched the major categories, Rwanda was always at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, consistently, the only country. So that's why we decided to do business in Rwanda.
Okay. And what about you, brother?
Okay, so me, I won't be actually repatriating to the continent, although I love to. But Dave and I, we have a couple of businesses back home.
Okay.
We're starting a business here that'll actually be an intercontinental business. And so I'm going to be the one back home to look over the business there, and he'll be here looking over the business here. So, but I mean, I'm going to be over here so much that it's just going to be crazy,
Yeah, because you're going to be bi-coastal, so you'll be back and forth, most definitely.
Sure.
Okay, you're going to repatriate completely then.
Yes, I'm done with America. Me and my brother, we've both been through it in America.
Right.
We still have several real estate endeavors that we have there, so one of us have to stay there.
Yeah.
So he was the one to choose to stay there.
Okay.
I'm going to be over here handling this business.
Okay. So how does your family feel about your journey? Are they on board with it? How do they feel about it?
Okay, as far as you, as far as Dave and your wife, she's asking about they're kind of in between because they've never been over here, and they're used to listening to the stereotypes. Media, so as far as family, they're like on the fence. They're actually they're like waiting to see what me and Chris is going to come up with, and then so it's kind of funny that he is the one that's coming back home and gonna plant his roots here, and his wife is a little bit,
she's a little leery
about doing it. Yeah, she's a little scary, but me, I'm the one that's not coming as of yet. Sorry about that. I'm the one that's not coming as of yet, and my wife is like, oh man, I'm ready to move over there, you know.
Right,
so it's kind of flip-flop, you know.
Kind of flip-flop. So
Yeah.
so has your wife been over there yet, Dave?
No, she hasn't been over here yet. She's been asking me, I'm not gonna get over there, but she hasn't been over here yet, but she's gonna be over here.
I think she'll like it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And really it all depends on the personality of the person too, you know.
Yeah.
Because if you know, like to, you know, live the American life, you know, if you're not open to seeing different, you know, ways of living, then it will be hard for you, you know, it will be. But if you are sick of America and you want something different, you know, you want to see something different, you know, get accustomed to the roots of the motherland, then you'll love it, you know. So what about your wife, Chris? Has she been over there yet?
No, she hasn't been over here yet, but she wants to come so bad. You know what I mean? She's asking me about it literally every day, you know. So it's kind of funny that we were telling a story. Excuse Dave for a second.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So we were talking to a couple of friends of ours who have relocated here already. And the one of our friends, he said that his wife like really did not want to pick up from the States and come here. It was all his doing. And she was like backing out almost to the point where wanting to back out of relationship. But she knew that she had to stick in there with her husband and all that type of stuff, you know?
Exactly.
So anyway, long story short, they moved here and, you know, they were here for, I think about 6 months before she visited back home, you know? They were from California. So after about 6 months, she visited home and she went home for 3 weeks. And it was the 3rd day. She was calling him like, I'm ready to get out of here. I'm ready to go back home. And it kind of shocked him because he had, to that point, he had never heard her call Africa home, you know. And only after 3 short days for her to have that kind of response was like, wow, you know. So it really speaks to how the society is back home in regards to violence, and just this overall mistreatment of us as a community, you know?
Yeah. The racism is a big problem here, you know? And I mean, it's not going to get any better. And, you know, when I see my brothers and sisters out there on the streets protesting, you know, after, you know, George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and, you know, so many other, Sandra Bland, you know, it's not going to change anything. It's not. You know, America was bred on the backs of us, African Americans, our descendants. You know, this country was built, you know, off of our backs, you know, and people are thinking we're going to get reparations and it's not going to happen, you know, so you might as well figure out how to get up out of here, you know, and of course I promote Africa. You know, that's what I promote because there's so many different, you know, aspects of Africa. You know, you got 54 countries, you know, you can repatriate to, but there's other places you can go besides Africa if that's not your cup of tea. You know, we have to get up out of here. Like there is nothing left here for us, you know? So, you know, it's either now or never. You know, the Most High has opened up the doors for us to be able to go back home, you know, and see for ourselves, you know? So I'm trusting the process, you know, and we got brothers like you that are very inspiring, you know, to the ones that are afraid. You know, because a lot of us are afraid, you know, because of the stereotype.
Yeah, sure. And then, you know, outside of being afraid, it's kind of sad because you have to have the means to just pick up and come back home, you know. So a lot of us have families already established home. We have jobs. And the only way our families are staying afloat is from that job, you know. So it's unfortunate that many of us won't be able to repatriate because of that. But Dave and I, what we're doing, you know, our business, Harmony Village 100, we are in the financial services industry, and we're trying to get people to make investments where that we can begin this wealth building thing and cut out the inequality once it comes down to wealth. So it's like it's going to mean that if a person is to pick up and leave and repatriate to this country, they're going to have some type of way to sustain themselves once they do so. Because it's nothing worse than picking up and coming to a foreign land, and then you look at your bank account like, oh man, I'm down to $1,500 and I don't have any income. What's going on here? So that's going to be the barrier that we're faced with on getting people to repatriate. So we're hoping we can kind of put a dent in that and make a way.
So with your Harmony Village, is that for real estate, or is it for jobs? Like, tell us a little bit about that initiative.
Okay, yeah. So we're called Harmony Village 100. And what happened originally, how this company was born, is David by himself was looking, because Dave always told me he used to have dreams. I mean, moving to Africa was his passion. I'm talking, he was having nightly dreams.
Wow.
And he was just coming to me, telling me about these dreams that he was having, you know, and I've never spoken this to him because I don't know if he know how many times he said it, but he came to me one day and he was like, bro, you know, I just feel like I'm capped out here in America. I can't do nothing else. And he said that like something, he's like, you know, and he has rental properties. I have rental properties. We have rental properties together, but we still hold the rental properties that we have separately on our own. Okay?
Yeah.
So he would tell me, man, I feel like I'm tapped out here. You know, I just got to get out of here. And he doesn't have a short fuse, but he is nowhere near as mild-mannered as I am. And I got some stories to tell you, and I won't go into that because we'll be on here for an hour, you know. But anyway, long story short, it was his passion to come here. So he looked into some companies. He met a few people online. He met some friends, and he was actually calling me like, hey, we got a Zoom meeting with such and such on such and such day. I'm like, man, you involving me in your meetings and stuff. I'm just cutting you off. But when I first told my brother about the business that I encountered and the profits they were sharing, he was like, man, there's no way they're going to pay those profits, you know. But I did all my research. I went to the RDB. I researched the UPI numbers. And various other things, you know, but my gut feeling just told me that these companies are legit, go with them. And I wasn't. No, he came here during the pandemic and he started his research and he made some private investments on his own. And then he kind of told me about them, and he was hitting me hard with them, you know. So at the time I was already off work because I had surgery on my knee. So I took a trip, came over here and looked into everything, and I was floored, you know. So back to your original question about the Harmony Village Initiative. I'm sorry I veered off topic.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. You know? Trust me. So, we do it all the time.
Yeah. So as far as the Harmony Village 100 initiative, what we do is we invest in agricultural companies here in Africa. And the returns that's paid here are phenomenal. It's like 50% returns. So we're at home, we don't get anything like that. What happens here when you invest with a company, they actually split the profits with you. So if I invest $10 and off of that $10, we make a profit of $10, I get $5. They'll keep $5.
Okay.
We're at home in the West, if I invest $10 and $10 profit is made, I'll get 10%. I'll get $1 and they'll keep $9. So what we're doing is we are looking at all these huge profits that we're receiving now, and we're offering people back home or worldwide. We have people that's done joined us across the world right now, actually. So, but we're offering them this opportunity to invest in the continent, but no one feels secure sending their money to Africa. And most of the people won't come here to look into it. So instead of us just doing it ourselves and reaping all the benefits ourselves, we're allowing people to do it through us. And that's in a nutshell. So you give us your money, and this is like pure black and white. I won't say funds or capital or none of that. You give us your money, we invest your money, we watch your money. We have people on the ground who we go around to all our different partner companies who we're invested with, and we give those big, high 50% returns to the people back home. So we're doing that in an effort to build wealth in our own community first, and
mm.
once that happens, it's going to open that door for people to say, okay, now, even if it's 20 years in the future, they'll have a huge nest egg so their kids can start talking about repatriation, because it's not going to happen in a generation as far as repatriation. It's going to take a while, but we have to start somewhere. And we think Harmony Village 100 is going to be the place that allows people to build up enough wealth to get out of here. Because those 401ks and mutual funds and stuff aren't doing anything.
You'll be sitting on that forever and still won't have enough to retire.
Absolutely. So that was a long response to that, but
but it was very in depth, something that the platform needed to hear. Go ahead, David.
But just to piggyback off of what he said off the 401ks, once the COVID-19 everything first happened and they were shutting everything down, I don't know if people know it or not, but if you were investing in the 401k, you could take up to $100,000 out of your 401k and only have to pay a 13% penalty. This was a government program that they put into place just to help people during the pandemic. And I don't know if many people knew about this, but at my job, which I worked at, was a steel manufacturing plant in America, they advertised it, like, look, you can take up to $100,000 out of your 401k and only get penalized 13% instead of the regular. If you took it out early, like 50%.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's 50, but it's huge. Go ahead. Right. But anyway, I've never told anyone this but my brother. I took out my whole $100,000, the whole amount I was allowed, and I almost tripled it in 2 years.
Wow.
Literally tripled it and only paid 13% taxes. So once I did that, with these prominent agricultural companies who were proven in the bed with the government, and that was it for me. I quit my job and I was done. I was done.
What a beautiful story. What a beautiful story for you all to be family, for one, because in America, a lot of family members have that crab in a bucket mentality. And, one person wants to be the head of the family as far as capitalizing financially. But you two brothers, you work together as a collective, and now you are helping many. Many will be able to create, financial wealth in Africa because of your initiative. Now, I want to ask some more questions about that. So say, for instance, if somebody invests in your company, can they just, keep the money in there and keep capitalizing off of the amount that they earn from you? Can it stay in the company for years until they're ready to, cash out? How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. If a person invests with us, we offer, we give monthly statements. We'll honor any type of communication that you want to have, any face-to-face, in-person interactions. Actually, one of our partners just left. He's leaving on Thursday of this week, but he came on yesterday and we did a whole tour. So we picked him up at in the morning, 6 a.m, and we went around to the different land and the different companies that we are partnered with currently to show our assets and our partnerships that we were formed. And unfortunately, everything is spread out, so we were only able to get to a few facilities, but he was able to look at everything, see everything, and get a nice warm and fuzzy, because he knows where his investment will be placed,
Yes.
I mean, we had like a 4-hour drive into the Eastern District. So we picked him up at 6:30 in the morning. We got back here at 8 or no, 7. Well, anyway, yeah. So we are very transparent. And back to your original question, if a person wants to leave their money in, we encourage that.
Yes.
But depending on the term that you want, you can either leave it in or you cannot leave it in.
Okay.
But I believe what we will find is that once your contract with us matures, and you are paid as agreed, you're gonna have no choice to leave it in. Or, I mean, just because you're gonna be like, wow, I really invested $20,000 or $100,000 and I got back $200,000. So you might say if you did invest $100,000 and our minimum is 5,500. But I just want to keep the numbers round. If you invest $100,000 and you get back after 2 years, you get back $200,000, you might want to say, okay, I'm going to take 25 and put it in my pocket and put the other 175 in. Or you might say, I want my whole 200. I got something to do. It's totally up to you. We encourage that you let it roll over so we can build what we keep talking about, this generational wealth. But obviously it's your money, so you can do with it as you please, And we give monthly newsletters and stuff, because it's nothing like when someone makes an investment into a certain company, because we have companies here that we invest with, and it's just crickets, until it's time to get paid, you get paid, but it's crickets throughout the term of your investment. So that's something that didn't sit right with us. So we didn't say anything to them about it, but we know if we're going to be the third party or the middleman investor between the companies here in Africa and our community at home, we want to be very communicative and responsive. So we do monthly newsletters, let them know how the company is doing in general. So we're really a progressive company, and we're trying to move our community to where we need to be. And
in Africa, the return is going to be very quick, especially with agriculture, because, hey, you got to feed people, and Africa is all about fresh, fruits and vegetables and things of that nature. So are you all going to get into animal farming or anything in the future? Is that something that you're thinking about doing as well?
We've actually had a couple of people contact us in terms of chicken farming, pig farming, several other animal farming. But right now we're concentrating on agriculture. We might eventually get into animal farming later. But right now it seems like the majority of the money is in agriculture, and 70% of the people that live around are farmers. So that's what they do. So right now we're going to concentrate on agriculture, but eventually we could get off into animal farming. We're open-minded, so nothing is off the table, but we're trying to get this market locked down and understood 100% in this
before you move on to the next.
Absolutely.
So as brothers doing the bi-coastal thing, how has it strengthened your bond as far as your personal bond with each other? How has this initiative and being in a whole nother country doing business strengthened your bond?
Well, for me personally, me and my brother, we've been close since I've been knowing who he was. Like, it's 10 of us, 5 boys, 5 girls. Right, and we all have the same mother and father. And they all made sure we were close. They made sure that we held no grudges. So our bond has been tight since birth. And also we've had several business adventures in the past, such as we sold candy growing up as kids, and we had landscaping businesses. From there, we went to cleaners, and then from there we went to a nightclub on our own bar. So we've had several business endeavors together. So our bond has always been tight. So he get on my nerves sometimes, though. He get on my nerves sometimes. So he's like more Americanized, and I'm like more back, You're more like Pan-African, Right, exactly. I don't care what you look like, as long as I can prove you are who you are and that you're legit, I'm going to mess with you. I'll do business with you.
Right. It's really the content of the character, of the person.
Yes.
It's not the color of the skin, it's the content of the character. Because, we know that all white people are not racist. you know, but the racist ones make it bad for the good ones too, you know. So it's like you kind of gotta, you know, weigh your options with certain ones and, you know, kind of see exactly who they are, you know.
Yes.
So Chris, are you the oldest?
Yes, I'm the oldest.
Okay.
I'm 47. He's 45. So I got him by 2 years. So that means I'm wiser. Me, like really, I'm like a little camera shy, so I might seem a little nervous right now because I'm not used to being behind the camera. But me, I just like to go straight forward and get the business handled, and I'm done.
Yeah, it's okay. But look, I'm gonna tell you something. With what you all are doing, people are gonna want to start interviewing you all more. You know, because this is a good thing, and not only like with just regular like YouTube interviews, but like for real, like news stations is gonna start wanting to interview you. You know, so get camera ready, Dave.
Yeah, we already have a semi commitment from a church back home. You know, I told them that we would be willing to put on this conference for the people of their congregation. You know, and they were just floored, like, oh wow, we didn't think you would accept it. You know, so they're in the process now of getting their schedules lined up. So that's something that we're gonna do.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's a good thing because, you know, with your story, it'll inspire other people to want to go to Africa as well, you know, because of course we've been lied to for hundreds of years about Africa, you know, and the time is now for us to go see for ourselves. I married a Ghanaian, and when I went to Africa for the first time, like I just couldn't believe it. I said, you know, they truly did lie to us. You know,
big time.
They did. And I just was like, dang, they got the same stuff we got in America, you know, but the fruits and vegetables were more, you know, bigger in size. Everything was like more fresh, no GMOs, you know, the air was clean and crisp, you know, and I just was like, this is a whole nother world. And when I came back to the States, I was sick. But everything happens for a reason. You know, you were chosen to go to Africa, you know, as well as I. You know, we all have a purpose on the continent, you know, that God has put inside of us. You know, truly the Most High is with us during this, you know. For, you know, some reason he wanted us to, you know, come together with our brothers and sisters on the continent. You know, he did. So, yeah, I'm just happy that you all took that step, you know?
Yeah, we've been dispersed, you know, around the globe. And you know, you have that little thing inside of you that make you want to know where you come from, you know? So Dave and I, we did not get an ancestry test or anything like that, but our younger brother right up under us, Greg, he's 40 years old, he did. And it came back with our ancestry being linked to 83% Nigerian. 83% Nigerian.
Man.
So that's like a huge number, you know? So, and it makes you want to go and visit and see what you can see and learn what you can learn and see if something clicks when you're in that atmosphere and give you your ultimate purpose, you know? So it's been exciting. It's been an exciting journey for us.
A lot of us are Nigerian. I have Nigerian in my DNA too. So a lot of us, we do come from Nigeria, you know?
Right, from that region.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like with you all's initiative, you'll be all over Africa setting up businesses. You know,
that's the plan, sure.
Yeah, I see it happening. And you know, take a trip to Nigeria, you know, eventually. You know, I have links in Nigeria. If you all need some links, you just let me know. I got tour guides and you know that I can link you up with, and they can show you around. Most definitely, it's a lot of land in Nigeria that's vacant, you know, that would, you know, really capitalize off of someone like you all to help the community. So what about the cost of living in Rwanda? Like, how was that, you know, from, you know, the US dollar? I don't know what type of currency they use. So what about, you know, the lands and all of that, room and board, transportation? How was that in Rwanda?
The cost of living here in Rwanda, I would say is between maybe 1/4 to 1/5 the difference between here and the U.S.
Okay.
When I first got here, it was me and 3 of my friends. We had 3 full course meals. We had a couple of drinks apiece, couple of waters, and the bill came up to 25,000 rounded francs, which calculates into 25 USD, 25,000. You know, and I couldn't believe it, because if that bill was in the United States, it would have been
over $100,
maybe 100, 120.
Yeah.
So I would say at least 1/4, 1/5 the price difference as far as the USA. Right? Some stuff.
Yeah.
I done seen bread that's like double the USA because it's been imported.
Right?
Yeah. And as far as the food or the restaurants, it depends on where you go. Because like today, we provided lunch for 6 people. And when I say lunch, yeah, it was lunch time, but these were like large meals, you know. So we all had lunch, 6 people. We all had, custom these drinks like passion fruit with ginger, that type of stuff, and several waters. So, and that bill came to $83.
Okay.
So, and that place was a little more pricey. That was a pricier establishment.
Yeah, a little bit more upscale.
Yeah, so for $83 for 6 people at an upscale establishment, that's still phenomenal.
Exactly.
Compared to the States, you know.
Yeah.
But we've ate at. But Dave and I, if Dave and I, and we normally keep 2 guys, so we have 2 full-time employees that live here in Rhonda. So they're with us from like 9 a.m. all the way to 9 p.m. So anytime we eat dinner, lunch, breakfast, whatever, it's always only $26. That's for all 4. That's omelets, orange juices, coffees, that's everything.
Okay.
So that goes for that's the food end of it. So she asked also about transportation. You can go ahead.
Transportation. As far as transportation, you can catch what we have here is called motorbikes. You can catch a motorbike for anywhere in the city for no more than $2. The majority of the places you travel is going to be $1. And of course, as you get a taxi, maybe it'd be $7, $8, $9, $10 for any city.
Okay.
So still very cheap, very reasonable.
Yeah, very reasonable. And what about the land? Is it hard to buy land there in Rwanda? And what's the variance as far as like a plot to an acre? Do you all have any pricing on that offhand?
Yeah, so the land here is fairly cheap, but obviously it's like anywhere else in the world. If you go to the more happening areas like the downtown area, it gets higher. So just say if you go to the suburbs, it gets, say, like a plot, which is a plot of caution.
Say suburb?
No, I'm saying a plot is no, the outskirts. So a plot is 300 square meters, and 300 square meters, I don't know what that is in relation to acres, but if I can just look at this plot, I would say that 300 square meters looks to me to be close, roughly to a half an acre. And you can get that for $5,000 or so.
About a quarter of an acre.
A quarter of an acre. Okay. About a quarter of an acre. Okay. So you can get something like that for about 5,000, but not in the city. So if you come into the city of Kigali, everything goes up. Now you may pay 30,000 USD for that same plot, you know. And that's anywhere you go around the country, you know. And then and when I say in the suburbs, I'm talking only about 15 minutes outside of the city of Kigali. You can get a nice 300 square meter plot, about 5,000 to 6,000. You know,
that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
2 years ago, when I first came here, my first visit here, I bought land. I bought my land in a town called Kenya, which is maybe about 15 minutes outside of the city center of Kigali. And I purchased all 3 of my plots for $3,500 a piece. And now today, each one of those plots are appraised at $6,000 a piece. So each plot is almost double in 2 years.
It's gonna go higher than that too.
Yeah. And when it comes to, we're still on the housing topic. When it comes to housing, the price to build a home now is, it's so low. You can't even compare it to the States.
I
Because you can
know.
build, you can build I would say about a smaller, we'll say a 1,000 square foot, 2-bedroom home, brand new, will cost you about $25,000. And if you have
less,
if you have the right contacts, it'll cost less. And to put it all in context, if you've seen a big mansion, say with 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 3,500, 4,000 square feet, you pay about 150,000 to get that built from the ground,
I know. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy?
And this will be the same type of house, depending on where you live in the States, will cost you over $1 million,
Yeah.
So it's and then the rental prices, the rental fees, he can speak more about how much it is if you wanted to just come here and rent. So
the rental fees are, I would say, a little, sometimes you can get a little bit up there, but everything is up to negotiation. Pretty much all on who you know, and pretty much, but like for me, I have locals doing all my negotiations. If you're local, you speak local language, I have them doing all my negotiations, so I don't be involved.
Yeah, that's the way to go. So are they charging you monthly, or are you paying by the year?
Monthly.
Okay.
Monthly.
Okay.
A lot of them want either 3 to 6 months up front.
Yeah. I know a lot of places they do about a year, but since we are coming back home, they're starting to change it up a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, Rwanda is a very peaceful country. The president is all that in the bag of chips. He don't play that.
Right.
There isn't much crime in Rwanda at all. It's one of the cleanest African countries,
Right.
It's like y'all having the best time ever.
And those are all facts. You can leave out your house at 3 a.m. yourself, being a woman, and go for a nice jog, and no one will even think twice about harming you in the least. You just can't do that at home.
Yeah. So I have one last question for you guys. Tell the diaspora some key points about, Rwanda, and what can they expect, when they come there, from the locals and from just the country in itself.
The key points for me would be learn the prices and learn the language as soon as possible. Because like for me and bro, we've been here several times, so we don't know the language that good. We're learning, but we know the price for everything. We know how much fruits and vegetables and juices and liquor and beer, we know how much all that costs. So sometimes they'll try to get over on you, but once you let them know, the prices and we're not going for it, they'll come down, so that's what I would say. Just make sure you learn the prices and the language as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because most people here, they do speak English. A lot of the taxi cab drivers, it's broken English, but they speak it. They can understand you. But if you don't speak the language, you'll go. I mean, just a quick example today, we wanted to get a sleeve of cups for the Airbnb for our drinks and stuff like that, because we don't want to wash all the glass that's in the cabinet. So a simple sleeve of solo cups, not even solo, just white clear cups that we know. Say if it's 25 cups in a sleeve that you can get in the dollar store for $1 at home, they just told us $13 for it at the store. And then they just marked everything up. And Dave was like, man, no, we buy this all the time, whatever. So our bill dropped down like 50% after and not only on the cups, we had toilet paper, we had juices, we had chips. Anyway, the bill originally came up to like $42 or something. And he kind of went hysterical. Not hysterical, but he let them know. We buy this stuff all the time. You can't just tell us anything because we foreigners. And they talked amongst themselves for a while, and our new bill came out to be $24.
What it should have been.
Yeah.
Like my brother, he's a lot more level-headed than me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when I see people trying to get over on me, really when I know the prices, you know, I kind of get upset. You know, I might get, you know, a little hype, you know.
Yeah.
He's like, let's get out of here. We're leaving right now.
Yeah.
Like, I need the tissue and the cups. We right here. They came down on the price.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the principle. You know, they've seen us coming and they're talking about, you know, but other than that, that is, you know, they try to capitalize here and there.
They do negotiation.
That's just a small part of all the other benefits that you enjoy. So I look at that, I take it all in stride, you know, and right now I'm looking at it as, okay, we're here for business. So I'm looking at it as a cost of doing business. He don't look at it like that. He's on the way to move here and he kind of want to change it and nip it in the bud, you know, now. But it's not something that you can nip in the bud. It's going to take a long time, you know?
Right. And actually, he says it's not something you can nip in the bud, but I believe it is.
Yeah.
Because I stress my point to the young women who were in the store, you know, they knew they were wrong. You know, so after they gave us the right price, you know, she came outside, I'm sorry. You know, she even gave me a hug, you know, like, I'm sorry, you know, I hope y'all would come back and see us again. You know, so they knew they were wrong. So, you know, sometimes, I'm not saying it's good, but sometimes you have to get in their face and let them know, like, look, we're here for the long term. We're here to help you guys. We're here to build jobs, and we're here to build this country. You know, you can't keep doing this, you know, so they understood, you know, and I think they'll do better when they see the next American or foreigner walk in that store, you know.
And you know, you have to stand up as an African American because they do look at us like cash cows, you know, because of the American dollar. And you know, it's a bargain system. As you know, there's not a price tag on anything in Africa. You know, everything is up for negotiation. So we have to come there and like set some ground rules like, look, you know, if you want me to keep shopping with you, which I will, you need to come down on these prices.
So, but
So
aside from that, all our experiences has been great. I think that's probably the thing that keeps stinging us every time we go into the store, you know.
But it isn't stinging us anymore because we know the prices.
right.
So even though we don't speak the language, once they know we know these prices, they come down and they give us the proper prices.
Exactly. Well, I thank you both so much for joining us today with all your expertise. I will most definitely get your information from Chris and put it inside the description box so people can know how to reach you and invest into the initiative.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. You all have a wonderful night and thanks for joining us.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.